MDOT presents the Extra Mile Podcast.
Welcome in to the latest edition of the Extra Mile Podcast presented by the Mississippi Department of Transportation. I'm Paul Katool, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Will Kraft. And today is actually episode 100 of the show. We made it. Crazy. That is actually insane. No better person to commemorate that occurrence than with Central District Transportation Commissioner and Chair of the Transportation Commission, Willie Simmons, Commissioner Willie Simmons. Thank you so much for coming on this big episode for us.
Paul and Will, let me just say how much I appreciate you all, and I watch you all often when you all are doing these events. But to be here for the 100th, that's an honor to me. I don't know whether you chose me because I'm Willie Simmons or whether it just happened that I'm here. But let me just say how grateful I am, and let me congratulate you all on such a good job and having done 100 of, it's amazing. So thank you.
Greatly appreciate it.
Amazing is a great word. Shout out to the folks that are tuning in out there. I mean, obviously we would not be doing this if we didn't have a viewership and audience. So to those that listen and watch, appreciate y'all sticking with us out there. We try and make it fun and have a good time with it. Bring us some and bring some good information to the table as well. 100 episodes, believe it or not. Thank you.
Yes.
Well, Commissioner, I'll steal Paul's thunder here just a bit on the intro, but another episode in the works for us. Lots going on, from legislation to projects around the state. What you been up to?
Working. Before I tell you about all the work, let me just say to all of those families and citizens who have been impacted negatively by some of the tornadoes and inclement weather that has come through Mississippi. Our prayers are with you, and we, the MDOT family, are always there to support and make sure we do the things we can do to get the community back on track and connected. So I want to thank our employees, but also do a special pause and thanks to the community for their support, and let everybody know that we are there in your time of tragedy.
Absolutely. Nature is undefeated, as they say. So our thoughts and prayers, certainly with anybody out there been affected by the storms and the weather. I used to not be scared of bad weather. A little bit of a sidetrack here. And then I sat in that tornado in Hattiesburg several years ago when I was in college. Well, you realize you're sort of foolish if you don't heed those warnings and watch out for that weather. But it'll get on you quick, too. And, without overstating the obvious here, certainly thoughts and prayers with anybody affected by the storms out there. Well said, sir.
Well, you talk about what I've been doing. We've been busy. We have a great Department of Transportation now with Commissioner Caldwell and Commissioner Busby, as well as Brad White and the entire staff, 2,700 plus employees. So we've been doing a lot of work, and thanks to the state legislature, as well as the federal government, and giving us money that they have been giving us for the past 4 years, it means that we are going to be able to continue to do the work that we are doing. The lottery is doing as well. You see a lot of paving projects anywhere you go in the state of Mississippi. The legislature gave us capacity money over the past 4 years, and that has put us in a position of building new projects. Let me just say here in the Central District, how grateful I am, and I'm going to start outwardly and work into the Metro Jackson area a little bit. But when you go up north, and I like to think about the north, the Delta area, Highway 82, the Greenville bypass, that's about a $215 million project that we are really, really excited about. And that project is going well. As a matter of fact, we're ahead of schedule. Utah Construction Company is doing that project. And we should have that project completed with citizen riding on it Labor Day this year.
Oh, wow.
That's going to do wonders for that area. It's going to be an economic development opportunity and growth for the Washington County, Greenville, and Delta area. And it's also a safety issue because we are taking trucks hauling all kind of chemicals and things out of a community in a residential and business area and sending it around Greenville. So I'm so happy and excited about that. You come south into the Yazoo area, and we was fortunate to get a discretionary grant from the secretary about $35 million that we are overlaying Highway 49 from Satoshi up to Yazoo, and that project has already started. So we are very excited about that. In addition to that, when we go east over to Neshoba County, Neshoba County has a project, Highway 19, that we have had on the books and been working on probably 20 years.
Oh, wow.
For a long, long time. And that is the 4-lane of Highway 19 from Philadelphia over to Meridian. We just let the last phase of that contract, and that contract has been given to Yates Construction, and they're getting ready to build the last phase of the 4-lane highway. So the citizens in Neshoba County, Philadelphia, and Meridian are very excited about that, and so are we. But in addition to that, warehousing is one of the big industry there in Neshoba County, and we are having challenges getting those log trucks in and out of warehousing going through the local community. We're getting ready to do a roundabout and do some enhancement in that particular area to make sure that work on Highway 16 and 19 in the city limits of Philadelphia. So all over the place, we're doing a lot of work. Bridges in Newton County. You go to Lauderdale County, where they just received a big announcement from the governor a couple of weeks ago with companies coming in and putting in a data center over there.
Okay.
That's going to be big for the community, and it's right near Highway 80 and 11, and we are currently doing work, have a contract to go in and do some bridge work as well as expanding and widening Highway 80 and 11 in that area. So they're excited about what we're doing now. And then you come into the Jackson area. We are doing so much work in the Jackson area that we sometimes get complaints from the citizens. We get complaints. Will, as you well know, having worked around the legislators as long as you did, citizens complain when progress is made because they want progress, but they don't have a lot of patience. When you look at Interstate 55, what we're doing at the Pearl River with the bridge situation that we're working on now, and that project is going to take us through the summer to get completed because not only are we doing it where the bridge is at Pearl River, but we're also going into the stack and enhancing that area. At the same time, we have a project going on Highway 80. So when you combine Highway 80 and Interstate 55 in the city limits of Jackson, you begin to create a traffic problem. But I want to thank you guys because you all were very great in putting out information and continue to put out information about the flow of traffic and where you need to go and the slowdown of traffic. But in addition to that, when we first started that project, you all got out front and communicated well with the public. So the public is not giving us many complaints about what's going on with that particular project now. So I'm excited about that. And then moving to Interstate 20, going east, we just let a project because that particular project, the interstate between Brandon, going east of Brandon, we're picking up rocks and individuals are complaining about all of that. But we just let a contract now to pave that particular segment of the highway, going to be about 11 miles, I think. Keep it on Interstate 20. When you come into the Jackson area, we've had complaints about the lights being out on Interstate 20, going from the stack over to Highway 18, Robinson Road. We now have a contract of about $2.4 million let that we're going to put lights up on Interstate 20. So we're going to take, we just finished not too long ago paving that section of Interstate 20, but we're going to now come back and we're going to put lights on it. We also was very fortunate to be able to internally and to have a contractor to put lights up on 220 from just north of Highway 80 going all the way up to Interstate 55 within the median. So we're now looking at a study that we're doing that's going to look at the entire system of putting lights up. So we're excited about the work that we're doing here, Madison County, Interstate 55. We're looking to do more work there, but we already have projects going on in Interstate 55 working with the county, and we're excited about that. Over in Rankin County, the West Rankin Parkway, that contract is moving forward, and we look forward to having that project completed sometime in the near future. So work, and we're excited about it and just anxious to do more.
So, no notes.
doubt.
Man did all that with no notes.
That was incredibly impressive. We have a saying in public affairs, MDOT is working for you, and that is certainly true. That is quite the list, Mr. Simmons. So thank you for all of that. And listen, not a highway or interstate project, but I understand recently a ribbon cutting for an LPA project, local public agency, the Museum Trail. I believe you were there. You tell us a little bit about that.
You know, you talk about connectivity, and MDOT is about safety. We're about building highways and bridges so that we can get our citizens and cargo to and from where they need to go. But when you're able to go in and do those LPA and TAP grant projects, working with municipalities, that's one here in the city of Jackson that's truly going to connect Jackson in a manner that we have never seen before. And I'm excited about it because when you think about that trail, and the Heart Association, as well as a lot of other private partners working in conjunction with the city, the county, and we, the Department of Transportation, has been able to move that. And we are connecting museums. When you look at the Ag Museum, and that trail going from the Ag Museum under Interstate 55 over to the Children's Museum, and eventually to the Hall of Fame Museum across Lakeland. And then when you come back on the west side, north side of Interstate 55, you're going to be looking at connecting it to Jackson State. That's going to be awesome.
Okay.
Where we're going to have this trail going from Jackson State through and coast to the two museums, touching our Ag Museum, going over to the Children's Museum and to the Hall of Fame. Citizens are going to be able to walk, ride bicycles, enjoy themselves, the beauty of what we was involved in the other day with the flowers that's being put down, and also, you know, to the Heart Association, who's kind of have a leadership role in that particular project, but to all of the partners who are involved. I just want to say how grateful we are as Department of Transportation to be able to work with them and make that kind of connectivity in the city of Jackson, and hooray to them.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful trail, too. I live right off of it in Belhaven, so thanks to everybody that made that happen. I use it all the time.
I think we'll probably end up trying to get a video project and stick David Kenny on a bicycle.
Oh, yeah.
Make him go ride and get us some good shots there.
When you do that, let me know, and I might ride with him.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. There's an
We'll make
idea.
that happen. A couple. I just wanted to, before we get too far off of these couple things, I just wanted to say, talking about US 82 and 19. I mean, all the good things that those are going to do for the communities and everything that you just mentioned, the economic development of it, getting some of those large trucks, big trucks, heavy traffic out of downtown. But shoot, it might bolster a little bit of tourism, because I know we've been talking about those projects for so long. I'm going to go ride on that bypass just as soon as it's through, just because I want to see it. Same thing in 19. I feel like it's been a topic for so long. When it gets finished, I'm going to have to go see it. So I feel like there'll be, some other folks out there too might get a little tourism bump out of it.
Well, some of those projects have been talked about since you were a young child in elementary school.
Probably even before then. I would not be surprised. Some of those for sure. And the other thing I want to just circle back on, the lighting you mentioned. Man, that is something that we do hear a lot about often. And forgive my ignorance a little bit here, but what's our latest kind of on the theft of the copper wires? That sort of stopped for a little while, or?
I guess you could say it slowed down a little bit because they've taken most of it out.
Oh. Well, there's no more to get.
If there's no copper to get, then you can't get to it. But it's a challenge because we, the Department of Transportation, have invested so much money into trying to make sure that our interchanges and interstates were safe and well with lights on them. That's created a problem for us with individuals stealing the copper. But we have spent monies hundreds of thousands of dollars replacing. And in many cases, as soon as we get it in place, someone comes along and take it again. But that's the purpose of the GAVA study that we're doing. And I said GAVA is the engineering firm that has that contract. The purpose of that is to have them to take a look at the entire metro area and figure out what's the best lighting we should have. And they'll come back with some recommendation, probably where we can get away from the copper. Or if we do continue to have copper, to put some kind of measures in place where it's more challenging and difficult for people to steal it so that we can get away from that. Because the last thing we want to have happen is because of inadequate lighting, we have a situation where an accident or something occurs. We're about safety, and we want to make sure that you can, one, see when you're traveling our interstate system, but also when you're getting off on an interchange, that you have lights, good lighting in place to make that work. Beautification. Lighting is a part of that beautification as well as the safety aspect of it. And as the beautification is concerned, here in the Jackson area, litter is a problem because for some reason, it appears that individuals just love dropping and putting litter out on my right-of-ways in the Metro Jackson area. And I call it my right-of-ways because I'm responsible for, as commissioner, to make sure that we keep as beautiful of our interstate system as we possibly can. And we have several things going on with that. One, we were initially, as you well know, when we mow, the contractors that we employ, when they mow, they pick up the litter before mowing, and it's all tied into the same contract. And we was doing that 5 times a year. Because of the grass growth in this area, for whatever reason, we have increased that mowing to 8 mowings a year. Okay. So we mow now from April through November. And during the months of November through February, March, we're not mowing, so no one is picking the trash up as far as MDOT is concerned. So what we did was we are spending about $110 million on a secondary contract to pick up litter during the months of December, January, February, and March to help keep the beautification. But we also have some volunteers working with us who are picking up litter and trash and doing a very good job along Interstate 55 from Lakeland up to County Line Road. That's working out well as a group that's picking up trash and litter from Interstate 55 over to Pearl River on Lakeland. Those two groups of individuals who are coming in on their own, working with the local community because they do get some financial support to help with some of the stuff from the local businesses. They're doing a phenomenal job, and we are so thankful to them. We also have a sweepers contract up on Interstate 55 where we sweep the interstate, and we just renewed that contract and hired someone else. And then finally, we are currently working with an MOU that we have in place or putting in place with the sheriff of Hinds County and the city of Jackson. So we will have offenders, when we ever get that program up and running, going out, working with the sheriff and the local police department. And what we would do is through our trash program here with the Department of Transportation, we can reimburse the sheriff and the city up to $50,000 a year to pay for someone to supervise the offenders. And we also have a program where we assist and will give to those entities, the city and the county sheriff, a truck when we have one possible to help pick the lid up. So we're doing all kinds of things to keep Metro Jackson beautiful and to keep the lights shining.
You hit it every nail on the head there. Innovating, thinking creatively, coming up with new solutions. The only one that I had heard that we have not mentioned, I believe this may or may not have come from our director, but was he was going to talk about the lighting. At one point, I think we were going to electrify the poles or something. So if you grabbed a hold of that wire, it would shock you. I think there may have been some legal issues with that.
Well, I was had that kind of conversation with the folks and suggested that we should look at doing that. And I said to them, I didn't know if we wanted to get into that harsh of a punishment, but we do need to do something to curtail it.
A wide-eyed awakening if you grabbed hold of that pole over there by accident for some reason. But
Yes.
no doubt about it.
Yikes on that one. I will tell you, I've worked here for a little over 8 years now, and for the first time the other day, someone actually called and said, things are looking nice out there on the interstates and highways in the Jackson metro area. So people are noticing. That's a good thing. Usually we get the bad calls. I'm sure some people But anyway, so good stuff there.
We've had a young lady here in Jackson who has been beating up on me since 2020 when I first became commissioner, and had a conversation with her a week or so ago, and she commended us also.
Look at that.
You're making improvements. So
Let's go.
it's always good to hear.
The proof is in the pudding, too. Like you said,
Yes.
you can go out there and see it right now. A shout out to all the folks out there, MDOT and otherwise. I believe that's Mr. Locke Ward and some of those folks over there.
He is one of those volunteers that I mentioned picking up trash up on 55.
Killing it out there,
Yes.
doing a great job.
No doubt. Will, anything else before we hit the fun questions to close this out?
Well, I think with just one, the main piece of literature that we've been looking at here recently to no end, but it looks like the secured recurring revenue stream, new revenue stream for MDOT to move forward into the future. It looks like we're at the doorstep.
Well, I have to give thanks to several groups to include, and I start with the commissioners, Commissioner Caldwell and Commissioner Busby, along with Brad White and you all, Department of Transportation. What we have done in coming together to say that we need the recurring funding and to make the case, I think it's been phenomenal. But then the other group is the state legislature, the governor, lieutenant governor, and the speaker, as well as the 121 legislators who serve. They have heard us. And this year, we are very excited the fact that the governor, lieutenant governor, the speaker, and the legislators have all been singing our praises and saying that we want to make sure whatever we do, that we include taking care of the Department of Transportation by putting recurring dollars into it. Now, we have a bill that has been voted on by the Senate and the House a couple times, and has gone to the governor's desk for his signature, and we're looking forward to his signature because that bill is going to, for the first time since 1987, from the legislature, other than the lottery money, it's going to speak to giving the Department of Transportation recurring money for its infrastructure. It gives money to state aid. It also gives money to multimodal program. So we're excited about what the legislature and how the legislature feel about us. That 9 cents that we're going to get over a 3-year period, 3 cents a year for the next 3 years, increase at the pump, as well as an index, we could see as much as $200 million, or pretty close to it, coming to us annually. That is going to give us an opportunity to do more maintenance. So when I talk about all of the projects that we are doing and the kind of maintenance that we're doing with the lottery money, it's nowhere near where we need to be because we need somewhere around $400 million annually to take care of our maintenance of our highways and bridges. But we're not complaining.
That's right.
We are saying thank you. We are so grateful that the legislature have saw the need and is going to send this opportunity to us. And I promise to them that when they send us these resources, we're going to manage and administrate them. We're going to be transparent. We're going to be accountable. And we're going to show them that what we said in our 3-year plan, that we are going to roll those projects out. And then we'll look to the future on how we do more throughout the state of Mississippi.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth there. I was going to say, a lot of times you hear these big funding measures and these conversations come up, and there's a want there for the funding, but we don't always have a clear picture of what comes with the funding. But for MDOT specifically, that is not the case, right? If you're curious about where the new money is going, we've got a plan.
We have a plan.
And it is out there. Anybody can go look at it. You can see exactly where that money's going to go.
It's called a 3-year plan. Now, and I have to say to the audience, when we say 3 years, it doesn't mean we're going to build a highway in 3 years.
That's very true, very true.
But it's in the plan.
We'll try.
And in that plan, it means that we start doing the preliminary kind of work to get a project shovel ready so that when we do have the monies, that we can move it forward. I'm very pleased to say to the citizens of Madison, Rankin County, that as funds come in for capacity projects, you all, based on what we have done as commissioner and having the support of the other two commissioners and the staff, Madison County and Rankin County, you will be looked at as being the next big project that we come out with based on capacity projects and the resources being available. So I'm excited.
Me too, as a Rankin County resident, as an MDOT staffer as well, though, and a Mississippian, though. Let me just say that too. I feel like things are going. There's just a lot of things going in the right direction. Everything's not perfect for everybody, but in the at least the echo chamber that I reside in for a large part of the time, things seem to be going in the right direction. A lot of good stuff going, a lot of positive stuff happening.
Most definitely.
Yeah, shout out to the many people that made it happen.
Absolutely.
Very, very cool. Well, you want to hit the fun stuff?
That's right. Let's get into it. We know the questions that everybody's been waiting for, of course. And Commissioner, now you're a little bit of a special guest in many ways, but specifically too now being a former restaurant owner operator. I know you're out of the business now. I believe. You may get told otherwise. You have to do some work on occasion. But what about a new place to eat? You been anywhere new to eat lately?
You know what? I get hung up on what I like.
It's fair.
And I have a tendency to go back to places that I like. So have not gone to a new place recently that I can say to you, this is a place to go to. But again, if you look for fast food, I'm going to take you to Chick-fil-A. If you want to have a sit-down meal, you can always go to a lot of different places. If you're up in Madison, you can go to Cakes and or Custer Prime, and there are many others, but those are two that I frequent often. And then if you want to get back into the Jackson area, Char's always available. And you have just a lot of good eateries. Marigold's I go to quite often because it's right near my office. Okay. So there are a lot of good places that I can give you a list to go to, but I haven't gone to any new place that I can think of recently.
Well, we'll hold you to that. We'll look for the update at the next edition of the podcast. How is is there anything still going on with the old restaurant?
No, the old restaurant is vacant, and I have no plans of going back in it to be the restaurant owner. Restaurant work is hard work.
That's what they tell me.
So to all of those individuals who own restaurants, thank you for providing good meals for us.
Amen.
It is it's a tough living, but shout out to everyone out there that does it. And segueing to our next question, our last question, any music you've seen lately? I know maybe you said there's a little blues festival back in the fall.
You know, back in September, my good friend Bobby Rush, who is 92 years of age and still jumping up on stage and kicking and entertaining. He has performed at every blues festival, about 48 of them. So we got involved in helping him to celebrate and making it a Bobby Rush Day. And we did an event for him, like a roast. And I was fortunate enough to serve as the master ceremony for that particular event because Bobby and I go back and we have such a great relationship. But he's such a great entertainer and one who never forgets his roots and his fans. So I always get excited when I'm around him and we go out to eat. As a matter of fact, we were at Manship a couple of weeks ago, and his fans and folks come in and they're looking over at the table, and I'm saying, you know, I'm getting a lot of looks today. And folks come running over, and they looking at Bobby Rush. They're not looking at Willie Simmons. That's always kind of funny to watch and to observe how he's able to keep that relationship and be an entertainer who has received 3 Grammys, but still be touchable. You can reach him, and so I was honored to be able to work with him and be the master ceremony for his roast in Greenville back in September.
That's pretty cool.
That is awesome. Quite the bluesman, Bobby Rush. So very, very cool on that. Hey, listen, we've gotten a lot of great information from you today, Commissioner Simmons, Chairman Simmons. Thank you so much for joining us. Greatly appreciated. And hey, I want to shout out Waverly McCarthy and Katie Hornsby. They also worked on the show, so dating back to 2001. And Drew Hall, of course, our producer, editor. He's been holding things down the whole time. So 100 episodes in the books. We want to thank our listeners, our viewers for the whole time. Thank you for tuning in and listening. You can watch and listen to episodes by visiting gomdot.com/The Extra Mile. Follow us on social media at Mississippi DOT is the handle. And remember to drive smart out there on Mississippi highways.